rankings. Be honest. If you know boxing, be honest. There's levels.
And it shows, bro. It shows.
Good he looks.
He's very sharp. That's all I can.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous. Don't look like he's a 46.
He looks like he's 36 or 26.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis is stunned after seeing Manny Pacquiao's unbelievable training for the Barrios fight. Despite his age, Pacquiao moves with insane speed and power, looking like a monster in the gym. His footwork intensity and sharp punches prove he's far from done and ready to dominate once again. Manny Pacquiao's teammates revealed that during sparring, he looked just as sharp and explosive as ever. They said he's not slowing down at all and still trains like he's in his prime. One teammate shared that Manny went 8 hard rounds without showing signs of fatigue, maintaining speed, power, and precision throughout. His movements were crisp and his punches landed cleanly with great timing. They were amazed by how fresh he remained even after intense sessions. According to them, Manny isn't just keeping up, he's pushing the pace and surprising everyone with how ready and sharp he still is.
Everybody is surprised, so it's going to be a good fight.
What's the most impressive? His speed, his power, his footwork?
It's everything, because you don't see him slow down. People say he's slowing down, but he's not. I mean, that's where you're exactly going to be surprised, because he's sharp, really, to be honest with you. He's very, very sharp. That's why I don't want to say anything else, but...
No, leave it at that.
You know.
But how?
I live it that way, but...
Okay, so let me ask you this. In 11 days, he steps into the ring at the MGM in Las Vegas to fight Mario Barrios.
Yeah.
How does the fight end?
There's a chance of knockout.
Manny,
I can see that.
You can see a knockout?
I'm not going to say what round, but...
Just that Manny wins either way, knockout or decision.
Yeah. I don't think decision. Maybe. The decision is kind of... I don't know if it's going to distance, really. Because the way
Manny's
I
that
see
explosive.
everything is... I don't know.
Okay, now let's talk about his son, Jim, for a second. How talented is his son?
He's a very good fighter. You know, he's
Good
going
power.
there.
I've seen him knock people out.
Yeah, he's but power. You know, but right now he's still. You know, we want him to grow more. You know, so to be ready. Actually, he's ready already. So we just want it to work in silence. You know, so we keep it down.
What's your message to all Pacquiao fans who are watching this, who are getting ready, who are excited for Manny Pacquiao Barrios, July 19, Las Vegas?
Tune in to this coming fight, because it's gonna be a very good fight.
Don't go to the kitchen. Don't go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Don't look at your phone.
Yes,
because it can happen.
Focus on that, because I know Mario Barrios also is training hard too. Manny also, he trained like there's no tomorrow.
Roy Jones Jr. has expressed full confidence in Manny Pacquiao's ability to claim another world title in his comeback. Despite the concerns around age and time away from the sport, Jones believes Pacquiao's work ethic, experience, and fighting spirit set him apart. He describes Pacquiao as one of the rare athletes who can defy expectations, stating that the Filipino legend has the tools, discipline, and mindset required to win at the top level even now. According to Jones, the hunger Pacquiao still shows in training proves he is not simply returning for showmanship, but for real competition.
I would not be able to take credit for beating Pacquiao after he got knocked out by Marquez, because that's not the same Pacquiao.
Of course.
That's not the Pacquiao at the top of his game.
Yeah, of course.
But in society today, we'll call that person the best fighter ever.
Of course.
When that's not how that goes. That's not reality. But in the business world, it is, because look how much money he made.
Here we go. Who's greater than me? I said, Sugar Ray Robinson. He said, Sugar Ray Robinson, how many wins he got? I said, he got like over 150 wins. He stopped for a minute. He said, but who got more championship titles, me or him? I said, hold on, Floyd. He said, answer answer the question. I said, Floyd, there's more titles now than then. There was just one then. That's no fair. Answer the question. I said, okay, you. Do I not have 28 titles? And I was just like, I don't know. He said, oh, you're supposed to be the expert. But the reason why I said that is because there's minor and major titles. Who else greater than me? I said Henry Armstrong, Roberto Duran. He said, oh my God. He said, you said something about Pacquiao. Yeah, I said, I think you'll beat Pacquiao every day of the week, but I think he had a greater career. He said, you ain't think Pacquiao was on steroids? I said, he didn't fail any tests, Floyd. He said, look at me in my eyes. I can't say, man, he didn't fail. He said, oh man, you fake. I saw that as a initiation. This is what you about to get. Nobody's greater than Floyd. My thing is, he should feel that way, but you can't expect everybody to feel that you're the greatest, Floyd.
Mario Barrios has made it clear that while he holds deep respect for Manny Pacquiao outside the ring, that respect does not extend into fight night. Barrios acknowledges Pacquiao's legendary status but views him strictly as a challenger coming for his belt. He emphasizes that sentiment will have no place once the bell rings, as he plans to treat Pacquiao the same way he would any other opponent aiming to take what's his. His statements reflect the seriousness with which he approaches this fight and his refusal to be emotionally swayed by Pacquiao's legacy.
You know, ever since the fight was announced, I think initially I was kind of just like shocked. Like, man, dude, like Pacquiao wants to fight me, right? He wants to fight me for my title. You know, I think for the sport of boxing and I think just sports in general, like Manny is that name. When you think about boxing, right? He's somebody that comes to mind. At least for me. Like I've been watching him since since my earliest memories of boxing. Manny has been a name that's like, okay, like he's the man. And yeah, you know, now he wants to come out of retirement. He wants to fight me for my title. I can't look at it as anything other than, you know, it's just another opponent trying to take what's mine. You know, he's outside the ring. I have, you know, nothing but respect for him, nothing but respect for everything he's accomplished. For the person he is, you know, everything he does, you know, for his country and more. But as soon as we step in the ring, you know, he's in there trying to take what's mine. I'm not training with the mentality, you know, that I'm getting ready, you know, to fight an icon, to fight a legend. At the end of the day, he's just another man, you know, trying to fight for my title. He's going in there trying to, you know, take my title, and I got to do whatever it takes to make sure he does it.
Brian Mendoza has praised Pacquiao's greatness, but remains realistic about the role age could play in this bout. He notes that no matter how skilled a fighter is, time eventually impacts performance. Mendoza believes that Pacquiao's speed and instincts are still sharp, but physical limitations may appear in the deeper rounds. His analysis suggests that while fans admire Pacquiao's attempt, they should also prepare for the reality that aging fighters struggle to maintain their peak form across the duration of high-pressure fights.
Don't say that before the interview.
I don't. This is an unbiased opinion.
Man, I'm looking forward to it, you know, even just as a boxing fan, you know, obviously coming up, there was always, you know, seeing Pacquiao's fights and stuff, and now to see the homie, you know, going up against him like that, it's wild, man. It's a wild feeling. I know you're more so for him, but nah, man, I think at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, the age will show up in the fight. I think at first, you know, he's had people talk about the layoff, but it's also a rest for someone at that age. So I feel like he's going to be rested. I feel like we might see, you know, hints of little old Manny, no pun intended, the old Manny. Little bits of flashes of that in there, but I think at the end of the day, man, Mario's super sharp. This is the sharpest I've ever seen him, you know, this far in camp. I'm super excited, bro, and he's gonna put on a great show. I still kind of lean towards like a decision, but regardless, it's Mario's way. If there is a stoppage, I think it'll be in like the second half. Like I said, you know, because I think that's really when the age is gonna show. Because you can look good in the gym, man, but once those bright lights are on you, anything that's wrong will come out. So as much of a legend man he is, I think, you know, he bit off a little more than he can chew with Barrios.
Despite skepticism surrounding his age, many fans continue to believe that Pacquiao's natural ability and ring intelligence remain intact. Footage of his recent training sessions has reignited hope among supporters who feel he still possesses the strength and explosiveness to compete with younger opponents. These believers argue that Pacquiao's unorthodox angles, stamina, and relentless approach have always been his advantage, and that those qualities don't simply vanish with age. The excitement around his return is driven by faith in his adaptability and sheer willpower.
Manny Pacquiao returns to the ring against a young fighter, champion WBC, Mario Barrios. How do you see that fight playing out?
Yeah, Barrios is a tall guy, and he's a tough guy. You know, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because Pacquiao is a champion, the holder of the records of 8 division, and he knows how to fight, he knows how to win, so you always got to give it that opportunity for him to show up. And now whoever shows up in that ring, whether it's a desire to win or just try to be there, that's a question that we have to see. But I believe that he has the ability to do something to win the fight against Barrios.
Analysts agree that Pacquiao's best chance lies in an aggressive and smart approach from the opening bell. Recognizing that stamina may become a concern in later rounds, many urge Pacquiao to take control early and overwhelm Barrios with his signature speed. By establishing dominance early, he can build momentum and avoid the trap of fatigue. The key will be capitalizing on Barrios' slower adjustments while avoiding unnecessary exchanges that could wear him down.
I was talking to somebody about Manny coming back fighting Mario Barrios. Ouch. And this was the analogy I gave. Your timing is just, it slows down. That's time. Time slows you down. And so, to me, I think Manny has to come out very strong, very fast in the first couple of rounds because his gas tank ain't what it used to be. At 46 years old, you come out and let's just say hypothetically your gas is half full at 46 years old. I'd rather try to use that half tank
when I got something
in 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And really get off on this kid because he has the kind of style. Styles make fights. He's got the perfect style for Manny to do what he do. But the further that fight goes, the more that's gonna go down. He ain't young no more when it does this. It ain't gonna do this no more. It ain't gonna go down and then come back up. He not gonna create space, take a deep breath, and that thing shoot up the way it used to. He ain't gonna do that, you know what I mean?
Observers have pointed out that Barrios' defensive style may leave him vulnerable to Pacquiao's relentless offense. Some believe Pacquiao has the tools to break through Barrios' guard, especially if he uses fast combinations and precise angles. Critics of Barrios suggest that his defense has holes that a high IQ fighter like Pacquiao can exploit. If Pacquiao remains alert and avoids taking damage early, he could impose serious trouble on Barrios.
Pacquiao Barrios, bro. Who do you like?
It's hard to know, at the age of Pacquiao, what we're going to get from him, But I'll tell you this. Depending on his conditioning, right? Depending on how much he can pop in on that instep that he brought to me, that notorious fast instep, if he can pop in that instep and if Pacquiao can get in, I know he can hurt Mario Barrios. Defense of Mario Barrios is still suspect. He is willing to get caught. You can catch the kid. It's not hard to find.
Questions around Barrios' pedigree continue to circulate, especially since he has been stopped by fighters who arguably lack the power and speed Pacquiao still possesses. Analysts argue that while Barrios is solid, he hasn't proven himself among boxing's elite. This creates an opening for Pacquiao to exploit, especially if he pushes the tempo and forces Barrios into uncomfortable exchanges. Many view this as a winnable fight for Pacquiao, provided he sticks to a disciplined game plan.
Are you cool with Pacquiao against Mario Barrios?
I am. I'm cool with it. If I was cool with Manny Pacquiao coming back and fighting Keith Thurman, I'm definitely going to be cool with this one. Barrios is not a puncher. Thurman was one of the biggest punchers in boxing. I think he's going to be just fine with Mario Barrios, who we know what he is on the top level. He comes up short. He's been stopped by fighters that are less than Manny Pacquiao, Tank Davis. So I like this fight. I think he's not going to be an overwhelming favorite, but I think it'll be a 50-50 fight, regardless of his inactivity and age. His explosiveness, even at this age, his greatness, and the fact that you can never know what Barrios you're going to get. And yeah, man, I like this fight. Why not? Nostalgia, marketable. Everyone will be behind him. It'll be internationally successful. I'm in.
How are you comparing Pacquiao coming back this summer at 46 after not fighting in 5 years to Pacquiao in 2019 fighting Keith Thurman, which came after back-to-back wins over Lucas Batiste and Adrian Broner? Those two scenarios could not be more different.
Some analysts insist that if age were not a factor, Pacquiao would be favored without question. Even now, they believe his fundamentals are intact and his boxing IQ remains far superior. These voices argue that the matchup favors Pacquiao if he can deliver the kind of volume and footwork that defined his prime. One of the most talked about aspects of Pacquiao's comeback has been the condition he has shown in sparring and training. Those close to the camp report he's moving with extraordinary sharpness, demonstrating impressive combinations and quick footwork. He has reportedly gone multiple rounds without tiring and remains mentally focused.
So former 8 division world champion, now Hall of Famer, Manny Pacquiao is now gearing up to take on welterweight champion Mario Barrios. And this is going to be an interesting fight. Now, I see a lot of people talking about Pacquiao saying that he's a former shell of himself, which he probably is. But make no mistake, 60% Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat on a lot of these young guys. Now, people were talking about Mario Barrios because he beat Udonis Ugas, someone who beat Manny Pacquiao last time out. But styles make fights, and this training footage of Manny Pacquiao training, I don't know. I think Barrios might be in for a long night, especially given his last time out with Ramos.
He ain't lying.
Paulie Malignaggi has voiced concerns about whether Pacquiao can maintain his form over a full fight. He acknowledges Pacquiao's elite preparation, but warns that at an older age, the body doesn't recover like it used to. Malignaggi believes even the most well-trained older fighters struggle in championship rounds, where stamina and leg strength become critical. Despite these concerns, he admits Pacquiao is a special case and may still be able to overcome these natural limitations.
What do you think about, Manny's decision and obviously getting thrown right into a title shot?
When you get older, your legs are not the same. You may have very good legs for a few rounds, but as you drag out a long fight, your legs start to betray you. I felt that later in my career. I would get into shape, but now all of a sudden, around 10, 11, 12, my legs are dragging ass, bro. Pacquiao, having not fought in a while, 46 years old. A lot of tough fights, a lot of wear and tear on Manny Pacquiao. But Manny had 70-plus pro fights. And he wasn't a defensive specialist. A lot of impact, a lot of back and forth impact. He's 46, he had a lot of heavy wear and tear into his late 30s and early 40s. So how are his legs going to be? That's my biggest thing, because I think, Manny was a range-changing fighter. He was he was that style, in and out. He's not a pocket guy. And an in and out guy needs his legs, and needs his legs the whole fight, unless he lands something big. I will say, I think Mario Barrios, I think he sucks.
Barrios has pointed to the fact that many great fighters have fallen short when trying to defy time. He suggests Pacquiao could face the same outcome, especially if the fight goes into the later rounds. According to Barrios, youth and endurance are on his side, and history supports the idea that aging legends are often caught when they least expect it. There is a growing opinion that Pacquiao might not have the same knockout ability he once did. Critics say that while he may land clean shots, Barrios' youth and durability could allow him to absorb punishment and survive. They argue that Pacquiao would need more than just timing. He would need sustained power to finish the fight early.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Manny Pacquiao will actually be fighting Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. If this man comes back and beats Barrios, which, if I'm being totally honest, I don't think he's winning this fight even remotely. I think he could actually get stopped, in my opinion. It's not because Manny's not great or nothing. He's one of the greatest of all time. You could argue that he is the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? 8th division champion. But he's just too old, man. This man is 46 years of age. If he wins this fight, he ties Bernard Hopkins' record for the oldest champion in boxing. That would be crazy. But if I'm being honest, I just don't see him winning. I see him getting stopped, dropped and stopped, if I'm being honest. He is having trouble with Ampo, bro. And Ampo not even a boxer. He a kickboxer. And, yeah, I just don't think he'll, I just think he's too old, if I'm being honest. I just think he's too old to win the title. But let me know what y'all think down below, man.
Interestingly, Barrios' own trainer has offered a unique take on Pacquiao's return. He warns that assuming Pacquiao's inactivity is a weakness could be misleading. According to him, Pacquiao may have been quietly training all along, staying in shape even during his public absence. He suggests that this could make Pacquiao more dangerous, as his body may be well rested and fully recovered, something rare in boxing. The trainer hints that Pacquiao's current sharpness shows he never fully left the sport behind. While many are excited about Pacquiao's return, others feel this fight shouldn't have been booked. Critics argue that bringing retired legends back for big paydays often harms their legacy and sends the wrong message about the sport. They point out that Pacquiao has already cemented his greatness and has nothing left to prove. From this perspective, stepping into the ring again, especially against a younger, active fighter, could risk tarnishing his historic career.
So Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title is being targeted for late July in either San Antonio or Las Vegas on Amazon Prime. And Pacquiao is currently in a Senate campaign in the Philippines in May, but after that he wants to return in the summer for a world title and try to break his own record as the oldest welterweight champion at 46 years old. Now, I have every issue in the world with this. You know, Manny Pacquiao, he's my favorite fighter of all time, but this is just not great for boxing. Pacquiao's last fight was 4 years ago in 2021 against Jordanis Ugas, and in that fight he looked a lot slower, not as explosive, and he got outboxed. And then last year when he was targeting the Barrios fight, he had an exhibition against a kickboxer, Rukia Anpo, first, and he looked even slower and even more hittable in that fight. You know, I don't think Pacquiao should be sanctioned to fight a world title fight at 46 years old, and not that Barrios is some scary knockout artist or a pound-for-pound level talent. You know, if there's one champ at 147 that Pacquiao could upset, it would be Barrios. But in all likelihood, Barrios being the younger, bigger guy, he's just going to beat Manny for 12 rounds, probably stop him late. So I just don't want to see the fight. You know, Pacquiao's accomplished everything in the sport. He really doesn't need another fight at 46.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.